I'm sure I don't need to introduce Indiana Jones to yous. You've all heard of him. It's like trying to introduce James Bond, or Darth Vader, or Batman. But the thing is about these four iconic characters, Indiana Jones probably gets the least talk. And I can see why. 1, because there's been no indie movies for over a decade. And 2, because everything that needs to be said about the films has basically already been said. Everyone has said how Raiders of the Lost is a near-perfect action movie. Everyone has said how bizarre and crazy Temple of Doom is. And everyone has said how shit Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was. But no one talks about The Last Crusade, and I don't know why. So I'ma just tell you why people should be talking about this movie, and why I love it.
My back!
I can happily say no one is at fault here, and the actors could not have done a better job. Harrison Ford, whilst not as good as he was in Raiders, is still really good. John Rhys Davies has more to do than in Raiders as Salah, and so does Denholm Elliott as the cinematic icon that is Marcus Brody. Honestly, these two might be my favourite side characters ever. Alison Doody completely convinces me that she's working with the Nazis whilst being a love interest in Indy, and I could go on for hours about how incredible Sean Connery is as Henry Jones. Excluding the Untouchables, this might be his best performance since Bond. What I say now might be controversial, but does anybody really remember anything in Raiders? I still think it's a masterpiece, but at the top of my head all I can think about is that iconic opening scene, the opening of the Ark, and that funny 1v1 where Harrison got sick so he couldn't be asked to do a sword fight, so instead he decided to shoot the guy for comedic purposes. True story, by the way. But for this, I can remember everything like it's the back of my hand. I could probably go through the plot scene by scene and tell you the whole story, and I could probably tell you some memorable lines and trivia facts about the film. And if anyone says I've seen this film more than I've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, no. I've seen Raiders at least once more than The Last Crusade, so there you go. All the action scenes are really good, because they all have one simple thing in common. They all have a simple but effective twist on them. Think about it. The Venice chase has Indy and Elsa spare Kazim's life, which leads him to sacrifice himself in order to help Sal and Indy steal horses later on, and him telling Indy where his father is being held captive, progressing the story. Plus the dogfight has Henry Jones starting off completely useless by not even knowing where he's meant to be pointing a gun, and even accidentally shooting down the plane that him and his son are on, to him being useful by scaring some birds so they make a German bomber crash. It's stuff like that, whether funny or unexpected, that make this film much more enjoyable, especially on a first viewing.
Junior?
It's unfortunate that this was the only film these two were in together, because their chemistry is better than Women and Bill Cosby. Basically what I'm saying is every scene with these two in them is a scene stealer. Unfortunately, that's most of the film. The reason it works so well is because it's played off as if they haven't seen each other in ages, which leads to some unstable situations and funny one-liners. Heck, most of the exchanges both of them have are funny, probably because they act like opposites, such as one of them wanting to be with family and the other one not wanting to. Another one being one of them wants to defend themselves at all costs, and the other thinks that's too much. The motorcycle chase perfectly shows this, and because of that simple reason, it's hilarious. John Williams composed this. You know, that guy who composed the score for them space films and a certain shark movie? Yeah, that guy. Well, what if I told you that he also does a good job on this film? All I need to do is say watch the opening chase scene and the castle escape, and you will realise how unique the score is. Great ending. Near perfect ending to this near perfect trilogy. In short, Elsa dies because she got too greedy for the Holy Grail, and it looks like Indy would go the same way. But his dad convinces him to let it go, by calling him by his well-known name instead of Junior. This may actually be a letdown for me because I love it when Sean Connery says Junior. I don't know what it is, maybe because he sounds so giddy.
It is you, Junior!
Anyway, it's a good ending because it has two good messages. Don't get too greedy, and you might find something that you didn't expect. In this case, all Indiana Jones wanted was to find the Holy Grail. But in the end, he found his dad, and had a fun journey along the way. And because of this, they escape, and Indy, Henry, Brody and Salah ride the horses off into a beautiful sunset, and the movie ends on a brilliant note. I really hope because of this video, someone will watch this film and not only enjoy it, but also realise that it's the best Indiana Jones film. Now could be a better time than ever for people to rewatch the Indiana Jones films, because a fifth one is on the way, and people may want to recap on these films before they watch that one. And it could introduce a new generation of kids to these films. But if you don't agree that Last Crusade is the superior film, at least we can agree on one thing. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull can disintegrate into dust. I don't know.